What's shaking? Our after post game, which is about an hour, maybe even longer after the game ended. Man, those postseason games take forever. My goodness. I think by the time I got out of there, it was 3 hours after the game started. So said hi to my guy Jim Peterson, talked to him for a bit, and then came on home and boom. Here I am to talk about the carnage. 117, 110, wasn't that close. Like I usually I pick up box scores at the end of each quarter. I didn't even pick up one at the end of the game. I just picked up one when it was 112-91 with 4:30 left because the game was over at that point. 21-point game. And look, I thought the Warriors battled. They played good offensively in the first half. They made shots. Butler was involved a little bit, but it wasn't just him. It was Draymond hitting some shots. Buddy hit a few shots. Man, Pajemski just cannot throw it in the ocean right now. He was 2 for 2 and then ended up 1 for 12. I think he missed 11 or 12 straight shots. I'll look it up here for you to see what his game log is in this series, but he's really in a major scuffle right now. Yeah, it's just been tough for him. Let's see, game log, Minnesota. So 3 for 14, 1 for 10, 4 for 9, 1 for 7, and then going back to the last game in Houston against Houston, 4 for 12. So in this series, they played 4 games, and he's 9 for 40, which is what? 9 for 40, that's 18% and 4.5, 22.5%. Yeesh. I mean, that's tough. And the thing is, it's cool. He wouldn't be shooting that many shots if Steph were there, but look, Steph isn't there, so fucking nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit that Steph's out. Nobody cares that Tatum's out probably now. No one gave a shit that the Cavs are missing 3 of them. They just don't care who's playing, who's showing up. It sucks for basketball fans like us. You want to watch teams healthy. You want to watch the best versus the best, and that's not what we're getting. We're just not getting the best versus the best. And I've asked this question over and over and over again. In the day and age where there's more medical staff than ever, there is more attention to minutes played and player health than ever before. They monitor these guys all the time. Minutes. Nobody plays close to 40 minutes anymore. And they all used to be a bunch of dudes that are playing close to 40 minutes. You have all that nutrition, and yet more guys get hurt than ever before, seemingly. I'd have to go back and look, but it just seems like, back when I was playing and before I was playing, watching the NBA, like the guys that were going to play are going to play. They just were going to play. And if they didn't, it was a shock if one of the main guys didn't play. But now it's like, you're surprised if somebody makes it through an entire postseason healthy and intact. And usually that's the team that has the best chance to win if you can just stay healthy for a postseason. So it sucks not having Steph. It sucks that Tatum's probably going to be out for an extended period. I'm just guessing, but it looked like an Achilles. Like when you push off and go down and there's no contact and he was in the pain he was in, I'd be surprised if it wasn't, but we'll see if it is. I mean, I hope it's not. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see. So Pods, hit a couple shots, and then that was it. But Kuminga came in, had a good first half. Peyton hit a 3. Looney did some work on the offensive glass, but Anthony Edwards is just a stud. He's just a stud. That 3 he hit at the end of the first half was massive. He had a couple threes when the Warriors were rolling in the second quarter, like just threes that like, pow, you're on a roll, and then boom, they just took it right back. And then you get up 5, and then bam, he hits one. Bam. So, and then the third quarter happened, and the Warriors went cold, and the Wolves, Anthony Edwards mainly, was just blistering. I want to say he hit that three at the end of the half. So at the end of the half, he was 5 for 12 for 14 points. At the end of the third, which he didn't play a lot of, by the way, because he got into foul trouble. So he was 5 for 12. At the end of the third, he was 11 for 20. So 6 for 8 and 6 for 11. So he was 3 for 6 from 3. He was 3 for 5 from 3. Like he was just, and then again, 4 for 6 if you want to count that last one. But it was just, him and Randall didn't miss. They didn't miss from 3 as a team. For most of the game, they shot over 50% from 3. So, if they get it going offensively and they're going to score 117 points, you're going to have a real tough time. And I thought the Warriors, if they got to 110, they might have a really good chance of winning this game. In fact, I probably thought they would have won this game because Minnesota's offense, it wasn't like it was firing on all cylinders throughout the course of the series. But in this game, it was. In this game. And then once the threes got going, I thought the Warriors got a little demoralized halfway through the third quarter, maybe forcing a few shots, trying to make something happen. But then on the defensive end, it was a layup line. It was layup, pick and roll, Randall layup, Alexander Walker layup, back to Randall layup. And it was just, and then it got to 20 and it was game over at that point. The one thing that really stood out to me in this game, and it's kind of the byproduct of having Kuminga on the court, because Kuminga is not a move and flow type player. He's very gifted. He's very athletic. And when he gets you lined up, he can take you one-on-one. And, sometimes it works out better than others. It'd been going really well for him. Second half, not as well. But you don't get the assists. You don't get the ball movement. And this is a team that was number 1 in the league in assisted field goals, meaning that 70% of their field goals are assisted. In this game, and I took this box score again with 4:38 left because I didn't care about the last 48 because the game was over at that point. They had 30 field goals. Now, generally in the regular season, they have 30 field goals. They're going to have close to 21 assists, if not more. So they assist on 70% of their field goals. Again, I think they were number 1 in the league in that stat. I don't want to give you guys bogus information. So I have that on my phone real quick. I'm going to look that up for you to see what they were. I go to this site called NBA Stats. It's Team Rankings, which is a really good site that I use when it comes to stats. Let's see, assists, turnovers per assist, assists per field goal made. Number 1 in the league, Golden State, 70%. So 70%, so 30 field goals, right around 21 assists is what they would average. By the time the game was over, out of hand, they had 30 field goals and 12 assists. In the third quarter, they had 7 field goals, 2 assists. And the reason I bring up Kuminga is more of a catch and kind of take it and go type guy. He's not a catch on the move, in rhythm, catch and shoot it. He's not a guy that creates for other players a whole lot, where he'll break down a defense and kick, and then the ball starts hopping. So, I mean, there was good there because he's able to do that. He's able to get to the rim. He's able to get to the free throw line, which he did 8 times in the first half. He was 8 for 8. And look, he was part of the reason they were up 2 in the first half. But there are some drawbacks there in that the offense that they like to use, when Steph's there, the ball's moving, ball's hopping, and the ball finds the open guy, and then the open guy scores, and it's an assisted bucket. With that, and look, Jimmy holds the ball a little bit too. That's kind of the way he plays, but it's it's a little more like move. He'll create for others. They don't find guys when he's driving. That's not really who Kuminga is. And again, it's not pro or con. It's just a fact that when he's in there, the ball just doesn't move as much. And so and when things aren't going as well, and you're trying to live off one-on-one, then it becomes tough. I told Tim at halftime, I said, they played a really good half. The only concern I have is out of the 19 field goals, they only have 8 assists. So where they average 70% assisted field goals, they're averaging less than 50%. In fact, just a little over 40% of assisted field goals. So that was a little bit of a problem. And so anyway, look, what are you gonna do? T-Wolves are, especially without Steph, the better team. I could sit here and tell you, I think the Warriors had a great chance of winning this series with Steph, but doesn't matter. It's like, who cares? Doesn't matter. He's not playing these games. So you got to find a way to win. And finding a way to win, it just becomes tougher, right? It just becomes tougher. You got to, if it gets to be a high scoring game, I don't think the Warriors can win that one. Why do I think Kerr hasn't tried to take away Randall more, even if Ant goes for 4? Look, I mean, Randall was making some shots. He's a 35% three-point shooter. You don't mind him shooting those threes. That one shot he hit was insane, that 18-footer. That was like, but shot clock's running out. It was like right elbow extended, and he turns around, hits an 18-footer in your face. Hit a couple turnarounds over his like left shoulder. The ones you don't want are the ones where he gets going downhill to his left and then finishes with the layup. Those are the ones that hurt you. And he didn't have a ton of those in the first half. But you know, when he's hitting the threes, he was hitting. What was he in the first half on threes? 3 for 5 from threes, 7 for 13 overall. So I mean, free throws and threes, he had 11 of his 19 points at the free throw line and beyond the arc. So I mean, sometimes you just say, what are you going to do? I mean, there are certain shots you're going to live with. And I think a Randall 3, but the way he's going right now, you don't really want to live with anything. And they just have, again, they have more firepower than the Warriors do right now. Especially with Randall going off. Because you have Ant, you have Randall. And, Conley had a wide open 3 occasionally, but McDaniels can do it. Nasri's a guy who can stretch. Nikhil Walker-Alexander's had just the weirdest 4-game stretch. 0, 20, 0. And what did he end up having today? Like 13, I think he ended up with at the end. But they're, it's a good team. It's a good basketball team. And, it was going to be tough. Again, I looked at it as more of a 50-50 series with Steph there. Like it could go either way. Without Steph, then obviously it slides heavily toward the Wolves. And the Warriors' margin for error just isn't there. It just isn't there. And they turned the ball over way too much in the third quarter. I think it was 7 turnovers in the third quarter. They did a nice job in the first half, only turned the ball over 6 times. And the Warriors got 8 points off those 6 turnovers. They turned the ball over 7 times for 7 points. So not only are the Wolves hot, they're making everything. Then you're kind of fueling it with the turnovers, and then your offense is scuffling. They just couldn't get anything to go. And the cohesion was there. The viscosity wasn't there. It just wasn't moving. So, again, I'd love to come up with a better excuse than that, but it is what it is. So, all right, let's go ahead and take a few phone calls if you want. We can keep this one relatively short tonight. There's not a whole lot to dig into, but I'll take phone calls. I'm not taking any phone calls, but I'll take comments. Anything you want to get into? You got any questions about personnel or chance? I mean, obviously their chances going forward aren't great, but I never count anything out. It's not a race to 3; it's a race to 4. So imagine players using the old school Converse nowadays. What? Like Chuck E. Cheese? Or the weapons? The weapons were bad. I used to have weapons when I was in high school. I was more of an Adidas guy, though. I like the top 10s. I was a big top 10 guy when I was in high school. The turtle shell toes, those were nice. Those were like $100 or $80. I had to beg my mom to get those, the top 10s. Those were cool. But the Converse, I never really wore Converse except for the weapons. I think I had a pair of those. I didn't get the Magic ones though. I wanted the Magic ones in the Lakers colors. Those things were sweet. Warriors bad offense third quarter killed them. They were deflated. Yeah, it was a combination. Bad offense, and then good offense for the Wolves. Like Wolves caught fire, Warriors didn't. And then once they started losing touch, again, I thought they got a little desperate, a little one-on-one. Guys trying to do maybe a little too much. Understandable, but when you see the lead go from +2 to -2, to Wolves by 4, Wolves by 6, Wolves by 12, you start thinking, I got to do something. Instead of realizing there's a bunch of game left, and just at some point they're gonna cool down, but they didn't cool down. They got 39 points in that fourth quarter, which is a massive quarter anyway. But in this series, it just seems like a monster quarter, and the Wolves put up back-to-back 30-point quarters. Like they went 70. What was it? 70 to 49 in the two quarters, and quarter 2 and 3. And when you put up 70, that's just tough for a team like the Warriors right now that doesn't have the firepower to keep up with them. And they would just, quite frankly, they just weren't able to keep up with them. So, am I surprised Jimmy didn't get up more shots? I'm never surprised by the way Jimmy plays. Could be a lot of shots, could be a little shots. I mean, you don't know what he's thinking, and like he tries to play the game the right way. He tries to do what it takes to win, but tonight it just wasn't working. Your streak ends. Your streak ends, Pat, at 10-0. Pretty good streak. Unfortunately, the one happened to be this game, but trust me, it wasn't you, it was them. And it was more the Wolves. Like, this isn't all about the Warriors and the way the Warriors played. This was about the Wolves, and this was about Anthony Edwards. And he might have gone for 40 tonight had he not gotten into foul trouble. He got into foul trouble, and that kind of took him out of rhythm, and they didn't really need him. I think they extended the lead when he went to the bench. So, that dude's bad. He's incredible. That one finish he had where he went up, hung in the air, looked away, and then as he's coming down, throws it up left-handed. I mean, to be able to hang in the air that long and then be able to finish that strong with your offhand, that was a manly move. Absolute manly move. So give it up for that. I mean, he's pretty amazing. And then he shoots 40% from 3. He didn't really even shoot the ball that well coming out of Georgia. But to do what he's doing, that's pretty awesome. Any thoughts on Dallas winning the lottery? It's just crazy, huh? Like, crazy the way that works out. I don't know if people, I know this whole conspiracy thing going around, like, oh, Dallas did the NBA a solid by letting Luka go to LA, so they fixed it for Dallas to win the lottery. Like, I never believe in those conspiracy theories. I'm not saying that like it can't happen. I'm just saying, can you imagine if someone found out about that? And I don't know how many people would have to be involved in that and not let it slip. Like, if you found out about that, you'd be like, well, I'm just watching rigged basketball now. They're just like placing guys where they want to go. But it is funny that Nico Harrison gets off, right? He better win, though, because he won't be winning championships with AD and Flag if they end up winning. Somebody else will. But, man, you want to talk about, like, I mean, just manna from heaven, like, oh, just getting killed. And all of a sudden, boom, the number 1 pick. And now you got Cooper Flag. They're going to be legit championship contenders next year. I know Kyrie Irving probably won't come back until after January, but they're going to have a big team. They're going to be able to trade some guys now. They'll have him next to Anthony Davis. Although Anthony Davis went there not to play center. He wanted to play with centers. So maybe they put Anthony Davis at 4 and he's at 3. Can you imagine how long that team would be? Holy cow. I mean, that's amazing. And so I can't even I Cooper Flag at 3, Anthony Davis at 5, then like Lively or Gafford at 5 and Davis at 4, Cooper Flag at 3. Phew. That'd be wow. That'd be a long team. The crazy thing is, though, well, other than the fact they had a 1.8% chance to win the lottery, and they did, is it the teams that were supposed to be up at the top, Charlotte, Utah, Washington, go 4, 5, 6. Oops, sorry. Like, no one wanted to see any of those teams get a good player anyway. Charlotte is just so dysfunctional. Like, fucking, did anybody want to see Cooper Flag go to Charlotte? I didn't. Did anybody want to see him go to Washington? I didn't. And then Utah, you tanked the whole season. Like, fuck you guys. Like, really? Kessler sitting out, rest. He's like 23. Marketing sitting, I think, please. Like, all these guys are young guys. They should be playing, and you're sitting them out. Like, right? You're trying to. So I had no sympathy for Utah. In fact, I was happy none of those teams won. How does San Antonio keep jumping up, though? Like, San Antonio, why? I was like, Dallas, San Antonio? And then Philly catches a break. They get top 6. They get to keep their pick. So they get the third player. I don't even know who the 2 and 3 are supposed to be. I know the 2 kids from Rutgers are supposed to be, the guys Harper and with the Bailey, I guess it is. I saw Rutgers play a couple times. I saw Flag play a lot. Flag's legit. Flag's a stud. Like, he's a game changer. So Dallas is in really good shape. They're in really good shape there. So, but yeah, I mean, San Antonio now, they're going to get another really good player to put with Castle and Wemby. And they should be good now for a while. Man, the West just doesn't quit. The West doesn't stop. Just when you think you never get a breather in the Western Conference. It is a battle royale like every single year. It's like, my gosh, this is like crazy. No, Utah didn't deserve winning the lottery. Utah didn't deserve shit. Utah deserved what they got, which is the 5th pick. That's what they deserved. That's what happens when you try to rig the system, okay? Like, people are paying good money to come out and watch these guys play, and you're going to sit them for rest when they're in their early 20s. Get out of here with that. Hey, just stop. Just no. No, 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 and no. And it's just so frustrating. I mean, not that I care because I don't watch Utah games. It's just disrespectful to the people that are paying for the tickets that you show up and like your team saying, we're going to give it a go. Nah, we're not going to give it a go tonight. We're going to rest 3 of our guys. Why? Tired. They're 23. What do you mean they're tired? They're 23 and live in Salt Lake. What are they going to be tired from? How about getting them out there and playing some hoop? Nah. All right. Well, you guys get what you get. Cooper Flag likely be more complete player than Luka. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think so. And I think he can play in the context of an offense as well. Like pass, move. Look, Luka's amazing. I'm not going to sit here and tell you otherwise. Luka's amazing. But Luka's a catch. Dribble kind of guys stand around a little bit and move, and then he does everything. Like, he hijacks an entire offense because of who he is. And look, Luka's incredible. He'll probably win an MVP someday. I would think. But I think Cooper Flag is going to be like a guy that, and we'll see. Maybe Luka wins a championship. He got him to the finals last year with the Mavericks, but I just don't love that style of basketball. I never loved the James Harden style when he was with the Rockets, and now Luka. It's just, it's not that much fun to watch. And then throw in that Luka cries every single time he gets touched, then it becomes insufferable. So just not my style, right? I like the ball moving a little bit. Ball move, ball move, ball move, ball move. Like even Chicago with Jordan, the ball moved until the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game. And Jordan said, all right, triangle's cute. Like it. Like the idea. Give me the fucking ball. And Phil Jackson, being the smart coach that he was, said, you got it. Let's get Jordan the ball. And so, but with Luka, it's like all game. Get you the ball. So we'll see. We'll see. That was part of the reason I thought maybe this will work in LA, because Luka will be with LeBron. And LeBron's work ethic is second to none. Look at LeBron at 40. He looks like he did at 34. Great shape, still putting up numbers, still getting them down the court. Is he the defensive player he was? No. Does he give the same consistent effort he did? No. But he's still good to go. And he plays a lot, and he plays deep into games, deep into seasons, and he's in shape. Like Luka's got to be committed. Luka's got to say, because people say, and I've said this too, and this is one of the reasons I wouldn't have traded him, even though I'm not as down on the trade as everybody else. The one thing I'm down on is if you're going to trade him, then maybe open it up for everybody and get a better deal, better package. But with Luka, it's, are you going to get in shape? Can he learn from LeBron and get in shape? And can he learn to play defense? Now, he can only be so good as a defender. Like, I don't think he can be like, he's not super athletic, but you can't tell me he could do the things he could do offensively. Hand-eye coordination, footwork, smarts. He can't apply that to defense and be a better team defender. And the first thing would be in shape, be in the best shape you could possibly be in. Because I'm not, and again, I was about to say, I've said this before, but yeah, but he gets 34, 9, and 9. He's not even in great shape. Well, is that a great excuse for not being in good shape? Shouldn't that be the bar? Like for NBA, like just be in shape. And then maybe he could get 38, 12, and 12 if he was in shape every night. Can you imagine what an in-shape Luka would do? A kind of, I guess, maybe in shape Luka still crushes dudes. That's how good he is. And maybe he thinks that's good enough. I'm talented enough. I don't need to work anymore. I'm good. But just think what he would be if he was like in great shape and he could contribute on the defensive end. And he could be a solid defensive player. Not great defensive players, not making any all defensive teams anytime soon, but just not a liability. Not a guy that they hunt every single time down the court during the playoffs. Now, you watch the Timberwolves, they were going at him. He was the guy they want involved in the pick and roll, and they wanted him to switch off on whoever they wanted to go against him. So, I mean, just not that guy. Don't be that guy. Don't be the guy the other team goes, okay, that's the guy we want every single time. So we'll see. We'll see what he's like. But I don't think Cooper Flagg, you're going to have to worry about it. Cooper Flagg is a really good defensive player. Good playmaker. Length. Good footwork. Good work ethic. Good rebounder. Can make shots. Like, he's a big dude, too, and he's got some swagger to him. So Dallas may have caught a break here. They may have caught a break on this one. So anyway, but I'm excited to watch him play. And good for Cooper Flagg. No state tax. Well done. Although it's not what everybody thinks it is. It's you still pay tax on out-of-state games. Like, he'll only not pay tax on games he plays like in Texas. So home games, Houston, San Antonio, and others. But when he goes like LA, New York, he's still NBA is like you need an accountant for all that kind of stuff. I'm like, God dang, I got to pay tax on all this? No, you don't. You live in California. You're screwed anyway. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Spurs had a couple lottery picks. Yeah, they did. They had 2 and 14, I think. What they did. Wemby and Giannis? That would be scary. Talk about some length at the rim. Holy cow. Those two condors would eat up the whole court. They play a 3-2 zone, and the back of the zone would just be like blacked out. It would be like an eclipse. You wouldn't be able to see anything. I don't know what they'd have to give up. It's going to take more than 2 ones to get. It may take. Well, maybe I guess you give up 2 this year. I don't know how many more of Atlanta's picks they have, but maybe 2 this year and a couple more. And what player would they have to give up? I don't know if they'd ask him to give up Castle, Vassell, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. That was interesting that Giannis finally said he's going to look around and explore other options and see if there's anything out there. And I think he's right too. Like, look, Giannis has tried as hard as he possibly could to be as loyal as he could to Milwaukee, because I think he's that type of guy. And I think the international guys, a lot of them are just built different. And I think he's wanted to stay there and wanted to make it work there. He's been the guy there. They love him. He won a championship there. But that team appears to be going nowhere. Right? They're getting older. Dame's getting older, coming off an injury. He'll probably miss most of next year. And then the team's just not very athletic. Kuzma, not a fan of. Portis, I like. Lopez, I like, but not athletic. So I don't know. I mean, if I'm Milwaukee, I try to trade him to the Western Conference. Great. More guys in the Western Conference if that happens to come to pass. But I don't want to see him any more than I have to, and I don't want to see him in the playoffs. But I got news for you. If they trade Giannis, they're not going to have to worry about the playoffs. They won't have to worry about meeting Giannis or anybody else in the playoffs because they won't be in the playoffs. But that's probably the smart thing to do. Try to get like 5 number ones, maybe a couple young players, and just rebuild. But it's so hard. It's so hard to give up a guy like that because when's the last time they had a guy like that? Kareem. That was 50-something years ago, and he asked for a trade and got traded to L.A. Won a championship with him, wanted to go somewhere else. I think that probably had to do with kind of the state of the league, where the league was at, and just the composition of the city and going to L.A. and being in a bigger market, being around people that, maybe shared the same views as he did. This is going to be about basketball, period. And what's going to give me a better chance to win. But if you're Milwaukee, I mean, you trade that guy. That guy puts butts in the seats. That's a reason to tune into TV. That's a reason to go to the games to see Giannis. It doesn't mean it's not the right thing to do to trade him or explore trading him. I think they'd be better off trading him. It was like the same thing with Ohtani with my Angels. It's like, trade the dude. He's not coming back. But they're thinking, well, he puts butts in the seats. When's the next time we're going to get an Ohtani here? I don't know. You had an Ohtani there. Well, kind of anyway, with Trout. How'd that work out for you as far as winning? Didn't. You got to think winning. You can't think players, but it's hard to get beyond that. People get attached to players. They want to see the players. And trust me, even if the fans know it's the right thing to do, they're not going to be happy. They're not going to be happy to see Giannis go somewhere else. But as far as the Bucks are concerned, it's absolutely the right thing to do if you want to get back in the next 5 years to being a good basketball team. You got to tear it down and just be happy you got your 1 championship and be happy you got the years you did with Giannis. And we'll see if he even comes to the realization okay, I found something better. This is where I want to go. Draft lottery was legit as Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. What are you talking about? Those were super legit. Come on. When Hulk picked him up and body slammed Andre? Come on. You doubted that? You doubted? Wrestling's real. I don't know what you've been smoking. Wrestling's real. My grandpa told me that. So, again, I don't know. I'm not going to go into that. I just because I don't know. It'd be funny if it was, though. It'd be funny. Thanks for sending Luka to LA. Lakers are back. Are they? I'm not sure. But anyway, here's Cooper Flag for you. I'll give you Cooper Flag. But if they're going to do that they really have to screw Charlotte, Utah, and Washington all of them, make them go 4, 5, 6. Like not one of those guys got in the top 3. How does that happen? I don't know how that happens. Brother, oh brother, the little Hulkamaniacs running around. Ooh, let me tell you something, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. I used to love when he used to be interviewed by Mean Gene, and Mean Gene would look at him. The eyebrows. Randy Macho Man Savage. There's something wrong with your mustache, Mean Gene. If Giannis really want out, I should get him. Do you really want him here with Steph? I mean, you're giving up literally everything. You probably have to give up Butler to go along with it, because that's, Giannis makes a ton of money too. And then you're giving up 5 ones. I mean, it gives you a chance for a couple more years, but here's the question, right? Steph's getting older. Is he going to stay healthy next year? Do you want Giannis as your number 1? Like, to build around? And how are you going to build around him if you have no assets? Like, I don't know how that works. Like, I'm not huge on bringing somebody in to maybe give you a crack at it and just destroying the future. Because now if you don't win, now you're in deep trouble. Right? Now you become the Clippers, who are really good this year. Nothing. They have no draft picks. Their draft picks are toast. Lakers don't really have control of their draft picks. Maybe they have a shot at it. Maybe they don't. They got fortunate. They got Austin Reeves, who was undrafted. And then LeBron came there. And then they got oh my gosh, we got Luka? The Lakers can't even believe they got Luka. Like, what? We got what? We got Luka? So, I don't know. 5 years ago, the idea was like, oh, this would be awesome. This would be awesome. Giannis and Steph. I don't know if I'm willing to give up. And look, here's the thing. Other teams are going to have a lot more assets than the Warriors. The only way it would happen is if Giannis said, I'm only going to the Warriors. That's the only place I want to go is Golden State. But like, I've seen weirder things happen. Did I talk about Tatum's injury? I did. I had somebody tell me that it looked like KD's injury in Toronto, where it looked like the Achilles was like a coil, like it just went snap and then it went brrr, where it's kind of like shrinking up into himself, like a little tremor was happening. I didn't see that. I just saw him go down after he pushed off his right foot and crumbled, and there was no contact. I was like, somebody brought up the Greenlaw thing in the Super Bowl. We just pushed off and down. Those are the ones that I worry the most about when they're no contact. Anytime you have a no contact injury, it's like, oh boy, that's not good. And that's what that was. And he looked like he was in pretty severe pain too. And it may have been pain and disappointment. He might have known, like, that's it. And the realization hit him, like, that's it. That's the season. And the thing that really sucks is not only, like, first and foremost, your season's over if that happens. And this is a time of season, this is a time of year that NBA players love the most because it means the most. And they finally had a chance, like, okay, we're in the playoffs, we have a chance to get back and defend our crown. And that probably the realization. And then I don't know if he thought this far ahead, but this is probably the whole next year. The whole next year could be done for him. Like, damn, it's brutal. It sucks. It sucks for him. And he was having a great game too. Incredible game. And now I don't know that they would have won. They were on the verge of losing anyway when he got hurt. So it wasn't like, oh, he got hurt and the Celtics lost. No, they were probably going to lose anyway. And then he got hurt, so it was like a double whammy for them. So that was kind of a bummer. All right, what else we got before we get out of here? 12:20. I got to fly tomorrow. I'll be on my way to Minnehaha. Let's see. I'm in the conference comment when you're talking about the injuries. Blah, blah, blah. You were a little behind the live chat. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. They should go. Yeah, the way they get injured, maybe they should go back to them. I don't know, but whatever they're doing, they're not working. It's not working. It doesn't seem to be working. Again, how many injuries have we had already in the playoffs for guys that missed games? A lot. Garland missed a game because of a toe. I know Mitchell is dinged up. He said he's going to play next game. You got Lillard out, Tatum out. Like, it's just Steph out. I mean, you're talking about like studs, and it's just, again, it's no fun. No fun watching these teams when they're not playing with their best. So anyway, Flintstone vitamins? Who wrote that? Is that us? We wrote that? Was it Max wrote that? Flintstone vitamins. Are those still around? There you go. John said, "Are Flintstone vitamins still around? Are you kidding me? I used to love those things." Oh, you're going Hulk Hogan. Take your vitamins. Take your little Hulkamaniac. Oh, the little Hulkamaniacs taking their vitamins. Come on, Mean Gene. I used to love him, and my favorite, though, is Roddy Piper. My favorite wrestler of all time. Roddy Piper. Although I did love Stone Cold. Stone Cold's pretty badass, too. He had the greatest entrance, the glass shattering and everything. And then when he won, he had the beers that he stuck together. Him coming in on a tank was an all-timer. Well, no, that was no, he came in the beer truck. That's right. The tank was Triple H, and also was Road Dogg on there, or yeah, I think that was the Generation X that came in on the tank. That's right. Stone Cold came in with the beer truck, and then he hooked the beer truck up, and he was spraying Vince McMahon all over the place. That was pretty sweet. But I've always been a fan of Stone Cold. Stone Cold's sweet. And then Roddy Piper. So Roddy, he had Piper's Pit. Piper's Pit was amazing. Loved Piper's Pit with Cowboy Bob Orton as his bodyguard. That was my first introduction into wrestling back in the 80s. JYD, Hulk Hogan, Big John Studd, Ricky Steamboat, Paul Orndorff, Roddy Piper, the Bushwhackers. The Bushwhackers were fantastic. Love those guys. All right. Was that look at Roddy Piper and the beer bottle smash? All right, I'll look that up. I got a Hot Rod shirt, a Roddy Piper Hot Rod shirt, and something happened to it. I got like ripped or something. I was like kind of bummed. I need to get another one, but yeah, but I did love Flintstone vitamins. I mean, I think anybody of my age took those type of vitamins. I had the Spider-Man ones. I had, because parents are like, well, how do we get our kids to eat this shit? They don't want to eat vitamins. Let's make it like candy. And I would crush those vitamins. Maybe that's why I'm 6'8". I crushed Flintstone vitamins. Crushed them. I think I was supposed to have 2. I used to have like 8. My mom said, why are these things disappearing? Where are they going? How many do you have? I don't know. 2? 3? I had way more than that. I mean, I'd eat those for candy. After dinner, I'd go over there and crush some vitamins. Didn't love the purple ones though, but anyway. Now Supervised Snook and Iron Sheik. America, Iran, number one. Don't forget about Sergeant Slaughter, the Cobra Clutch. Ric Flair, figure 4 leg lock. Yeah, those were classic. Those wrestlers were classic. Kamala, the Ugandan giant, fantastic. Mr. Perfect. Who else was there? I mean, I used to watch. They had Tuesday Night Titans on TNT on Tuesdays. Tuesday Night Titans, and then there was one other day of the week they'd show wrestling, and I watched it all the time. Yeah, it was great. And Macho Man, obviously, and Elizabeth. We actually went to a show at Oakland Coliseum, wrestling show, and big Under the Giant was there. So were the Bushwhackers. I've told this story before, but Mully almost got in a fight with Bobby the Brain Heenan. We were there with Marcus Johnson's kid, Chris. I think it was Chris. It was me, Chris, and Mully that went to the show. And we were leaving before the show ended, or right after the show. We were walking back in the tunnels. I mean, it's our arena, right? So we went to the locker room, then went out. We were going to go out the back way. And Bobby the Brain Heenan was there. He goes, "What are these guys doing here? What are you guys doing here?" Because, that's back when wrestling was pretty secretive. They didn't want you to know it was fake. And I hate using the word fake. Scripted, I guess, is better. I mean, those guys take bumps. It's a rough life, but it's scripted. They know who's going to win. So they're going over the matches and stuff like that. And he was back there with the Bushwhackers. And Bobby the Brain's like, "Who the fuck are these guys? Why are they back here?" And Molly goes, "Fuck you. It's where we work." And I'm like, "Oh, we about to get into it? The Bushwhackers? Somebody better take their 2x4s away. I don't like our chances of the other 2x4s. Of course, that was Jim Duggan that had the 2x4s. But yeah, that was a funny night. That was a funny night. Under the Giant wrestled. He'd step over the ropes too. He'd just push him down and step over him, get in the ring. That was a massive, massive dude. Massive dude. All right. I'm going to get out of here. I got to get up, catch a flight tomorrow, and I'll be on my way to Minnesota. So the no show tomorrow, Wednesday. Thursday, we might do a show after the game at some point Thursday for a little bit, just kind of a recap, maybe go over some playoffs. And then Friday, Marcus Thompson will join me out in the backyard. So we'll have a couple hours with Marcus, maybe longer. I don't know. We'll see how long Marcus has. And then we'll just kind of go from there. So Warriors lose 117, 110. They're up against it. They're on the plank. One more step and they will be in the ocean. So we'll see if they can stave off elimination Wednesday night in Minnesota. And we'll talk to you more than likely Thursday. But if not, we'll definitely talk to you and recap everything on Friday with Marcus Thompson. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for joining. See you.